So I just got done watching the new Gate anime that just came out, and I think this is going to be my favorite anime for this spring. I'm going to be honest, at the beginning, I was a little hesitant when I was watching the first 5 minutes. It seemed like an exact Sword Art Online clone, but it really wraps that part of the story up real quick that this is a death game, it's a VMORPG, and it just really wraps that up real nicely, real quick, and it actually gets into the actual isekai world. Like, I thought it was funny. Like, even the main character makes the point of like, wait, so I just went through a death game and now I'm in an isekai. I'm sorry, I got a good laugh at that. So our main character here is a man by the name of Shin. I didn't get his last name, so I have to go back and check that later. But regardless, Shin is now in what appears to be a full-on real fantasy world. He's not really quite sure what's going on, so he heads back to his main house of operations because he thinks he's in the same world, but he's not quite sure. Now, when he arrives there, he witnesses a beautiful elf girl being dragged away by three burly humans, and it looks like he's going to have to step in and save her until something strange happens, and she crosses a barrier with the three men, and out of nowhere, a monstrous boar just appears and starts to attack the three. Now, the three men quickly abandon the girl and run off, and letting the girl fend for herself, which she's just a young girl, so it looks like she's going to become mincemeat for this boar. Now, thankfully, our hero, he steps in, slays the boar, is a Chad and saves the day. Now, when he's talking to the young elf girl, apparently she's actually a few hundred years old, and apparently there's some kind of curse upon her that forces her to stay within the protective barrier of the house. Now, she asks him if he has business with her master, because he did mention when he first encountered her that he's returned, so she's curious if he knew her masters previously, which we then find out that her master is by the name of Sheen, who's the current protectorate of the store. Now, he says that they're old acquaintances and he just wants to say hi, so he leaves a message with her. Now, from her, we actually learned that the high human race, which he's a part of, died out 500 years ago, along with a great catastrophe that a whole bunch of other people just vanished. So the high human race is gone, along with various other people from that 500 years ago. So giving us a good time frame that 500 years ago is when Shin beat the game, and now 500 years later, that's when he's coming here. He leaves a note with her for her master, and apparently the coin that he leaves with her to pay for the message is worth about 10 billion of the normal currency of that world. So he's going to have to find someone to get the exchange from on the down low, so he doesn't have to pull his cover that he's coming mega famous. Now, the coin isn't the only thing that Shin gives to Tira. The other item that he gives, well, not really an item, he does a favor for her. He uncurses her. At least we think that she's completely uncursed at this point. See, the issue that her hair, it used to be a silver color, but there was a curse that she got younger, turned it like a dark blue that we see here, and it attracted monsters all over to come and attack her village. She was kicked out of her village, and it wasn't for Sheen, who saved her and brought her to the Moon Sanctum, which is the shop. She would probably be long dead by now, which is why that boar showed up. So, boy Shin, he uncurses her, but it only seems to uncurse a strand of her hair. So I'm wondering if the curse is really gone, or if it's just the power has decreased rapidly. I don't know. That'll be an interesting plot thread to play on later in the show. We'll just have to see if they do anything with it. With that, Shin concludes his business at the shop and prepares to leave. But before he leaves, she gives him a card that apparently allow him to walk into the city that he passed on the way here. Now, she said the name. I can't pronounce it myself. My apologies. I'm horrible at names, so I'm just going to leave it right here. And he returns to that city to go take a look around. Now, when he reaches the city, there's a massive line going on. He's like, oh, geez, I'm glad I had this letter, because otherwise I'd just spend like a whole day just in that one line. And what he learns from actually one of the guards is that pass that he has into the city isn't just for the city, that he can actually go have an audience with the king. That's how important that letter is from the shop. So he knows that he has to keep a tight hold on this thing. Now, first thing he does, as any good adventurer would do, he goes meets up with the guild. And once he gets there, he's directed towards one of the assistants on how to sign up, and he fills out the paperwork, and it's just going to take some time for his paperwork to be finished up. Now, while he's waiting, a server comes over and brings the food, which turns out to be the receptionist Celia that had helped him before. Now, Celia informs him that they're just going to take a quick step off to the side of the room, and turns out he's going to meet with the guildmaster. Now, the guildmaster, he goes in great depth on the importance of this recommendation card that he has from the shop, that it's so important that he can get into any country and meet with any ruler pretty much within the known world. So that's how valuable this letter is. Also, there's a lot of people that would stop at nothing to grab it and abuse it. So he's telling him right now, if you don't think you can hold on to it, destroy it. And Shin, our boy, he's like, nah, man, I got this. I mean, he doesn't necessarily go with that much bravado, but he takes it very seriously as well. And so he's like, nope, I'll give up my life to protect this letter. Something on the variation of that. Satisfied with Shin's response, the guildmaster then takes Shin out to the back where they can then evaluate his physical ability to become an adventurer. And apparently it takes the rest of the day because by the time he gets back to his hotel, it's dark, he's exhausted, and he just collapses and falls asleep. Now, when he wakes up the next day, unfortunately, he's still in the isekai world, which he was hoping that he would been, wake up back home, that it was just all a bad dream. Unfortunately, my man, in isekai world, there's not much you can do until you get to the end, and maybe you're even just stuck here for life. Accepting his fate in life, Shin returns back to the guild hall where they present him his card, and it's based off the regular system that we see in all animes and MMOs and all video games pretty much, that top tier is S, then it goes SS, and then below that is A, and then all the way to G. So 9 ranks in all. And apparently they're starting him off at the very bottom. So obviously when they were doing his assessment, he must have been using very little bit of his power, because if he was the one who beat the boss in the death and life game, chances are he should be more of a renowned warrior at this point, just judging by how much of a badass he is. But I can understand him wanting to keep it on the down low for now, just until he can figure out exactly what this whole world is about, what's going on here, because the last thing you want to know is show your amazing abilities and have a whole bunch of fake people flock to you that then use you for their own purposes. Best to start low, figure out the groundwork, and then work up from there. Now with his guild card, he presents them with a quest to go collect some herbs, which they approve. Now there's no timeline on this quest because it's always in demand, so good for him. He can just head out to the outside walls of the city and start searching for some of the plants. Now as he's doing his searching for the herbs, he looks at his mini map for the monsters and he sees one acting sporadically for some reason. Curious why this monster is acting so weird, Shin heads on over to it to find that it's a Skullhead Jack. Apparently Skullhead Jack is a monster that's been terrorizing the area recently, and apparently a merchant even got slayed by him. In fact, when Shin finds him, he finds his most recent kill. Seeing that this creature is too strong, because I think that he says that it's about a level 329 if I remember correctly, Shin decides to go after it, battles it back and forth a little bit, realizing that his sword only has one hit left in it before it breaks. Shin unlocks his full power and takes out the monstrous creature. Now, he used a little bit too much force on it, because apparently this monstrous creature was using a holy sword that gets knocked out of its grasp completely and goes flying out into the air. So hopefully that doesn't hit somebody and kill them. Otherwise, and my man, you just inadvertently murder somebody. So fingers crossed that lands safely, but knowing how these shows act, probably that flying sword will land in front of someone important and be a signifier that a new age has come or something like that. You know how things go in these animes. Now, with the defeat of the monster, Shin gets a gem and he quickly pockets it. I'm not quite sure what it can do yet. We haven't had that explained, but so starts Shin's life in this new world. Now, I should mention we do actually know what happened to the Holy Sword. The Holy Sword went flying through the air, landing right in front of the princess, signifying that a new age has come. So overall, I give this show a high ranking. I really can't wait for the rest of it to come out. I really think that this is going to have a nice little change and variation upon the isekai genre. A lot of change and variation? No. If you want something like Reincarnation of Healer or some of those more edgy isekais, I highly doubt that we're going to get this here. It seems like it's going to be more a light, fun isekai, so probably more of your generic line of isekais, but I have high hopes that this will be a good storyline. Now, you guys let me down below. What do you think? Do you think this will be a great isekai? Do you think it would be mediocre, or do you think it would just be bad? I look forward to hear from what you guys got to say. I'll talk to you guys there. Leave a like and subscribe. Bye.